The 2026 Chevy Tahoe. Chevy might have perfected a formula for a family full-size SUV, so in this video I'll talk about what this thing is from a technical standpoint, how I feel about the interior space, and obviously what it's like to drive it, so let's get started. So the Chevy Tahoe needs no introduction. It's a big body-on-frame full-size SUV which many Americans love, and they have a reason to do so. It's big, comfortable, spacious, has a V8 under the hood, and can tow up to 8,400 pounds. Now, last year, in 2024, the Tahoe got a small refresh which includes redesigned front fascia, redesigned cabin with updated technology, some revisions to the suspension, and new color and wheel options. Besides that, it's a good old Tahoe, so it still sits on a frame. It has a double wishbone front suspension and a multi-link setup in the back. That standard is combined with coil springs, but as an option, you can get magnetic ride control or adaptive dampers and air springs for better comfort. Now, as of engines, we have three options: a base 355 horsepower 5.3-liter V8, 420 horsepower 6.2-liter, also a V8, and a 3-liter straight-six turbo diesel, which makes only 305 horsepower, but almost 500 pound-feet of torque. No matter which engine you choose, you always have a 10-speed automatic transmission on board, and obviously can pick between rear-wheel drive or four-wheel drive variants. Now, the RST that we're testing today is mostly a visual package, but there is also an RST Performance Edition, which is pretty cool. So, it comes with modified exhaust, heavy-duty front brakes provided by Brembo, revised chassis which is actually used in police Tahoes, and power bumped to 433 horses. I would love to review it one day. Seems like a bad idea, but you know what? We all like ridiculous bad ideas in cars. Now, as of pricing, the Tahoe starts at a little over $60,000, and in case of the RST, we're talking about a starting price of $73,000. If you fully spec out your car like our tester, you can get it up to almost 90 grand. Now, before we talk what it's like to drive this thing, let's take a look inside and talk about the interior space. Okay, so we're inside the Chevy Tahoe. Now, the cabin has significantly changed in 2024 with the facelift, and it was a change for better. Maybe it looks a little bit more generic and boring. It's actually, to me, giving a little bit of German vibes, but overall, it was a change for better. The design itself looks a little bit more upscale. It has been cleaned up, but at the same time, the ergonomics are still great. Yes, we lost some physical controls, but in general, there is still a good amount of buttons in this cabin for things that require easy access, and you're just not frustrated using this thing. The technology implementation is also great. The refresh bought a 17.7-inch infotainment display with a Google-based system. There is some learning curve in the beginning when using it, but the layout is pretty logical, and if you like using wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, no worries, the Tahoe still offers that functionality, unlike fully electric GM products. The digital gauge cluster is also great, fairly customizable. You can display a full screen map or driver assist information, as well as trip computer or other vehicle information, so everything you need. Now, the Tahoe also shines when it comes to space. I mean, we're talking about one of the roomiest SUVs in the segment. It offers plenty of space in the cargo area. When you drop all seats down, you can basically carry an ATV or a dirt bike probably in the back. And just as a reminder, there's also a bigger Suburban. But back to the Tahoe. The usability is great. There are a lot of storage solutions across the cabin, including the sliding center console. It's massive, and you can tell that this thing has been designed with usability in mind, which you will definitely appreciate in your family hauler. When we look at the back seat, we can choose between a bench or two captain's chairs. If you get captain's chairs, they are adjustable, heated, and your passengers in second row will also like the fact that there's a third zone climate control, USB-C charging ports, and a household powered outlet. The third row is usable, and even adults like myself, 6'1", 185 pounds on a good day, can travel there comfortably. There are USB-C charging ports, climate vents, so everything you need. Lastly, the front seats, they are very comfortable and can accommodate basically any body type, but there is literally no support, so you will slide around even when taking some on and off ramps. The RS trim gives you some red touches like stitching or other elements, but sadly not more supportive seats. Well, that was the cabin of the Chevy Tahoe, so let's head into our favorite back road now and see how it drives. Okay, so we are behind the wheel of the Chevy Tahoe RST. It is an RST model, so it should be sporty, right? Yeah, and a 6,000 pound full-size SUV. Anyways, we are on our favorite back road, so let's quickly see what this thing is capable of. We can put it into sport mode. Yes, the Tahoe has one, so the dampers will stiffen up and the air suspension should lower the SUV as well. Not happening, but that's okay. We can just floor it. I must admit, one of the reasons why I love the Tahoe is because it still has a naturally aspirated V8 under the hood. The Grand Wagoneer has a turbo straight 6, the Ford Expedition has a turbo V6, but here we have something that perfectly fits this SUV. A 6.2 liter naturally aspirated V8, 420 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque. It's just adequate for this type of vehicle. It doesn't have plenty of power, it doesn't feel super torquey or fast, but it's just right. You will never complain about a deficit of power. The power delivery is very nice and smooth. And the engine also works great with a 10-speed automatic transmission. This transmission was co-developed by GM with Ford, but I have a feeling that GM wrote their own software for it because it is much better calibrated compared to what Ford does. In the beginning, Ford's transmissions were terrible. They cut up a little bit to GM, but I still think GM has done a better job. Whenever we need to lose a couple of gears, the car knows right away which gear to go into. There's no delay, and the shifts are very nice and smooth, almost CVT-like. So yeah, when it comes to the powertrain tuning and how it works, everything is done just right. And also, it doesn't sound bad. You can get a performance exhaust on the Tahoe, and I think on the Suburban as well. So that's pretty cool. It gives you nicer sound, a little bit more power. So not bad, GM, not bad. Now the pavement is wet, as you can tell. It's raining a little bit, so obviously we're not gonna do anything crazy. But one thing that surprised me out this generation Tahoe, Yukon, and Escalade is how enjoyable to drive they are. I mean, yes, you're driving a 6,000 pound house on wheels, but from the driving dynamics perspective, it is far better than what we had in the past. Still, nothing crazy. This car is not made for aggressive driving, but I really like how it behaves. It's pretty stable. Granted, the traction and stability control are very intrusive, so they catch you pretty quickly, but even the transmission is holding RPMs, knowing that we're driving dynamically. So yeah, not bad at all. I'm really curious what the RST Performance Pack feels like, because it is a suspension for police Tahoes, so that's a pretty cool thing. Alrighty, let's stop that. We're gonna go back into normal mode and do what the Tahoe is meant to do, just a normal, everyday drive. The only issue I have with driving the Tahoe on a daily basis are not its dimensions, it's fuel economy. I mean, this is what you get when you have a 6.2 liter naturally aspirated V8 in a huge SUV. During my week with it, I've been averaging, as you can tell, around 12 miles per gallon. Granted, I do a lot of city driving and I sit in traffic. If you live in New Jersey or have been to New Jersey, you know that a 10-mile commute can turn into an hour commute because you're in a bumper-to-bumper traffic. And despite the auto start stop system, this thing likes to drink fuel, so not the most fuel efficient, but that's not why you buy a Tahoe. When it comes to highway driving, you can get it up to 18, 20-ish miles per gallon. So if you do long distances, I would highly recommend looking at the diesel variant because that apparently can do high 20s. But from an everyday driving perspective, the dimensions are fine. It's relatively maneuverable, maybe doesn't feel as nimble as the Grand Wagoneer does, but I have no issues driving this thing whatsoever on tight Jersey roads. Also, the cabin isolation is great. The ride quality is just fantastic. We do have Magna Ride on our car. We have air springs, so The suspension behavior is going to feel very refined whenever we hit any potholes, bumps, manholes, expansion joints, all types of road surfaces, despite the fact that we have 24-inch rims on our tester, which is a silly idea. I would never do that. I would do 20s max, but even with those 24s, the ride quality is just fantastic. Nothing for me to complain about. You have plenty of space, great cabin isolation, Super Cruise, so you can drive hands-free on many highways in the US and Canada. And Chevy put, or GM in general, a lot of effort into this generation Tahoe because it's one of their best-selling models. They figure out how to make this SUV successful. I see plenty of them on the roads, and they're really great SUVs. Granted, they're not as good as unibody constructions, but also there basically aren't any full-size unibody SUVs in the US. So when you look at the price range, yes, for 90 grand, that's how much our tester costs, you can probably get into the Mercedes GLS, BMW X7 territory. Personally, I would probably pick the Beamer, but it's not gonna offer as much space. So you have to figure it out by yourself, take all of those cars for a test drive, see what you think, what's best for you. But the Tahoe is really, really good. Not my type of vehicle. I prefer sedans or wagons, but I totally understand why someone would need something like that. They can tow, they can put their family in it, go on long distances, and it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be super comfortable. So with that, let's head into the final thoughts and summarize this thing. Okay, so let's sum up the Chevy Tahoe RST. Now, full disclosure, I've never been a fan of body-on-frame SUVs as they are far away in terms of comfort and driving dynamics when we compare them to unibody constructions. But there is something awesome about driving them. You have a great command of the road, they offer plenty of space, and you just can't go wrong with a V8 under the hood. Now, if we compare the Tahoe to its domestic rivals, so the Jeep Wagoneer or the Ford Expedition, I think it has the best cabin in terms of ergonomics, the highest levels of comfort, and technology that is not frustrating to use, including optional Super Cruise. Looks like Chevy perfected a formula for a family body-on-frame full-size SUV, and sales numbers only prove that. This is one of the most popular full-size SUVs that I see on the roads, at least here in New Jersey, so they've done something right. If you guys have any questions about this thing, drop a comment and I'll be more than happy to answer them. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you all later.